The hulking silhouette of the Zillo beast cast a long shadow across the lower levels of Coruscant, a stark, unsettling testament to the raw, untamed power that now resided unnervingly close to the Republic's heart. Its presence, a terrifying spectacle of nature brought to the very threshold of civilization, was more than just a logistical challenge for the Jedi Council. It was a profound symbol. A symbol of the war's escalating desperation, yes, but also of something far more insidious brewing beneath the surface of the Republic. For Mace Windu, the beast's arrival wasn't merely a point of concern, it was an affront. He had witnessed its destructive capability firsthand on Malastare, a force of nature that had almost wiped out an entire ecosystem. To bring such a creature, even in a sedated state, to the galactic capital filled him with a deep, resonating unease. He knew, with the certainty of a man who had seen the darkness in the galaxy, that this was a path fraught with peril. He made his concerns known to Chancellor Palpatine with characteristic directness. Windu stood tall, his gaze unwavering, as he outlined the multitude of risks. The creature's immense power, the potential for catastrophic escape, the ethical implications of turning a living being, however monstrous, into a weapon. His voice, usually a steady beacon of authority, carried a note of quiet urgency. He spoke of the balance, of the Jedi's responsibility to protect life, not to exploit it. But Palpatine, ever the master of calm reassurance, listened with a patient, almost paternal air that Windu found increasingly unsettling. The Chancellor's words were carefully chosen, painted with the brushstrokes of wartime necessity. He spoke of scientific research, of understanding the creature's remarkable invulnerability, of extracting its secrets for the greater good of the Republic. "Think, Master Windu," Palpatine had intoned, his voice smooth as polished stone, "of the advantage this could give us against the Separatists. Imagine the lives we could save by understanding its unique biology. This research is not merely beneficial, it is vital to the war effort." Windu's concerns, however, were not alleviated. In fact, they only deepened. He could sense, in Palpatine's unwavering resolve, a will that seemed impervious to moral argument, a mind fixed on power and utility rather than the sacredness of life. It was clear, in that moment, that his counsel, the considered wisdom of the Jedi Order, was being politely yet firmly ignored. The Chancellor had made his decision, and no amount of Jedi reasoning would sway him. The feeling of futility was a chilling one, a quiet acknowledgement within the Jedi Council chambers that their once formidable voice no longer carried the weight it once did. They were guardians, peacekeepers, but increasingly they found themselves on the periphery of the Republic's true power, their moral compass dismissed as an inconvenience in the relentless march of war. It was in this atmosphere of growing disquiet that Obi-Wan Kenobi, ever the pragmatist, offered a suggestion that, while seemingly practical, carried a profound, almost mournful undertone. "Perhaps," Obi-Wan ventured, his gaze sweeping across the grim faces of the Council, "we should turn to someone with more direct influence within the political sphere, someone who understands the nuances of the Senate and who might have more success in reasoning with the Chancellor." The name hung in the air: Senator Padme Amidala. The very idea was a subtle yet stark admission of the Jedi's waning influence. To rely on a politician, to seek an intermediary to appeal to the leader of the Republic, spoke volumes. It was not a testament to the Jedi's newfound humility, but rather to their diminishing power. Their own voices, once strong enough to guide the very foundations of the Republic, were no longer enough to sway the Chancellor, a man they were increasingly finding difficult to trust. Consider for a moment the weight of that decision. The Jedi, the spiritual and military bedrock of the Republic for 1,000 generations, reduced to seeking political leverage through a senator. It wasn't a tactical maneuver born of strength, but a strategic retreat, a quiet acknowledgement that the battlefield of ideas had shifted, and they were perhaps outmaneuvered. It marked a turning point, a subtle but significant step away from their traditional role as direct advisors and moral compasses, towards a more indirect, politically reliant position. The council agreed. It was a somber understanding that the path to Palpatine's ear now ran through the labyrinthine corridors of the Senate, through political connections and alliances, rather than the straightforward appeal to reason and the Force. They reached out to Senator Amidala, hoping that her diplomatic skill, her unwavering moral stance, and her unique relationship with the Chancellor might achieve what their collective wisdom could not. This moment, often overshadowed by the grander battles and more dramatic events of the Clone Wars, was a quiet turning point. It signaled a profound shift in the balance of power, a subtle but undeniable sign that the Jedi were becoming increasingly isolated, their council sidelined by a Chancellor whose vision for the Republic, and indeed for the war, was beginning to diverge chillingly from their own. The Zillo Beast, a monstrous symbol, became a catalyst, forcing the Jedi to confront the uncomfortable truth of their diminishing sway and to step into the murky waters of political maneuvering in a desperate attempt to protect the Republic they served. This episode, where the Jedi found themselves needing to enlist a politician to reach the Republic's leader, underscores how the lines of influence were blurring, and perhaps how the very nature of the Republic was subtly but irrevocably changing. It leaves us to ponder, at what point does seeking help become an admission of weakness? And what does it mean for those who are meant to be the guardians of peace and justice? What are your thoughts on this pivotal moment in the Jedi's journey? Did their decision to involve Padme signify a necessary adaptation or a painful surrender of their authority? Share your reflections in the comments below. And if you found this exploration thought-provoking, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more insights into the galaxy far, far away.